Have you ever attended a social gathering, smiled through small talk, and left feeling more alone than ever? That strange disconnect, where being surrounded by people only deepens your longing for solitude, is a feeling many of us know but rarely voice. Society celebrates extroversion, teaching us that joy lies in constant interaction and shared experiences. But what if you feel most alive, most at peace, when you're alone? This isn't about rejecting others. It's about understanding yourself. It's about recognizing why certain interactions drain you, or why surface-level connections leave you unfulfilled. Whether it's the pressure to fit in, the fear of judgment, or simply a craving for meaningful moments that today's fast-paced world rarely offers, your hesitancy to engage with others holds clues to your inner truth. Rooted in the timeless teachings of Stoic philosophy, this journey explores 5 powerful reasons behind your aversion to social settings. These insights aren't just observations. They're a way to honor your preferences and uncover a path to genuine connection. Let's explore them together. You might just find the clarity and self-acceptance you've been seeking. Shall we? 1. You are an introvert. The power of solitude. For introverts, the power of solitude is not just a preference, it's a lifeline. Imagine this: a serene room with soft light streaming through the windows, a quiet space where your thoughts can wander freely, unbothered by the clamor of social obligations. This is where introverts thrive. They are often misunderstood in a world that values extroversion, where loudness and sociability are equated with success. But as Marcus Aurelius insightfully observed, nowhere can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. Meditations, Book 4:3. For introverts, solitude is not loneliness, it is liberation. Take the story of Emma, an aspiring artist, as an example. Emma works full-time in a corporate office where networking events and group lunches are the norm. She often feels drained after these interactions, longing for her quiet studio at home. On weekends, instead of attending parties or large gatherings, Emma dedicates herself to painting. The solitude allows her creativity to flow uninterrupted, and she finds profound fulfillment in expressing her thoughts and emotions through her art. To others, it might seem like Emma is avoiding socializing, but to her, this time alone is essential for self-discovery and growth. The introvert's challenge often lies in societal expectations. Social norms dictate that outgoing personalities are ideal, that being the life of the party is a sign of happiness and success. For introverts, however, small talk and superficial connections can feel exhausting. They seek depth in their interactions, a meaningful conversation with a close friend over coffee, a shared understanding that goes beyond the surface. The chaos of constant social interaction is not energizing, it is depleting. As a result, introverts often withdraw, not out of disdain for others, but to protect their inner peace. This struggle aligns closely with Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes the value of introspection and self-awareness. Epictetus advised, "Be content to seem what you really are." Discourses, Book 3:2. Introverts embody this principle naturally. They are not driven by the need to project an image or conform to societal expectations. Instead, they focus on cultivating their inner world, finding joy in reflection and quietude. This inward focus allows introverts to recharge and reconnect with their true selves, providing a foundation of strength and clarity. But introversion is not without its challenges. Many introverts experience guilt for declining social invitations or choosing solitude over company. They fear being perceived as antisocial or unkind. Yet, as Seneca wisely stated, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Letters to Lucilius, Letter 7. This advice underscores the importance of quality over quantity in relationships. Introverts should feel empowered to prioritize meaningful connections over superficial engagements. By doing so, they honor both their nature and their relationships, creating bonds rooted in authenticity and mutual respect. Consider another example. David, a software developer, who often feels out of place in loud office parties, but lights up during one-on-one brainstorming sessions with his colleagues. At first, he struggled to reconcile his introversion with his professional responsibilities, forcing himself into networking events that left him feeling drained. Over time, David learned to embrace his strengths as an introvert. He began initiating deep, purposeful conversations during smaller meetings and excelling in focused, independent projects. By leaning into his natural tendencies, David not only enhanced his well-being, but also gained the respect of his peers. For introverts, practical steps can make navigating social life more manageable. First, honor your need for solitude without guilt. Recognize that your time alone is not selfish, it is restorative. Carve out moments in your day to disconnect from external demands and reconnect with yourself. Whether it's through journaling, walking in nature, or simply sitting in silence, these practices nurture your mental and emotional health. Second, when socializing, seek out interactions that align with your values. Instead of large, chaotic gatherings, prioritize smaller, more intimate settings. Choose meaningful conversations over idle chatter. For instance, rather than attending a crowded party, invite a close friend for a quiet dinner where you can engage deeply and authentically. Third, practice mindful communication. When you do engage with others, listen attentively and respond thoughtfully. This not only fosters meaningful connections, but also ensures that your energy is spent wisely. Remember, it's not the number of interactions that matters, but the quality of those moments. Finally, set boundaries with confidence. Politely decline social events that you know will exhaust you, and don't feel compelled to explain yourself. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be satisfied if you can live the rest of your life in harmony with your nature." Meditations, Book 12, Tom 1. By respecting your needs, you create a life that reflects your true self. In embracing solitude and the strengths of introversion, you align with a Stoic understanding of self-mastery and authenticity. Far from being a weakness, your preference for quiet and depth is a source of wisdom and resilience. So the next time you feel the pressure to conform to societal expectations, remember this: your solitude is not a retreat from the world. It is a return to yourself. Use it as a foundation to build connections that matter, pursue passions that fulfill you, and cultivate a life of purpose and peace. 2. Trust issues. Guarding your vulnerability. The preference for solitude often stems from the need to recharge and find clarity. But what about those moments when solitude isn't just about energy, but protection? Introverts may seek quiet to escape the chaos of the external world, but for others, solitude can be a shield against past betrayals. Have you ever opened up to someone, shared a piece of yourself, only to see your trust broken? These experiences leave scars, reshaping how we view connection and vulnerability. How do you guard your heart without shutting the door to meaningful relationships? Epictetus provides a guiding principle: cautiously trust, but do not let betrayal harden your heart. Discourses, Book 2, Turn 2. This wisdom reminds us that while trust requires courage, it also demands discernment. Trust is a delicate currency, and for many, past betrayals have left that currency depleted. Take the story of Sarah, a diligent professional who once confided in a colleague during a stressful period. She shared her frustrations about a challenging project, hoping for support. Instead, her words were twisted and used against her in a team meeting, damaging her reputation. From that moment, Sarah became guarded, avoiding personal conversations and viewing every interaction through a lens of suspicion. While this self-protection shielded her from further harm, it also isolated her, preventing her from forming deeper bonds with her peers. This tension between caution and connection is central to trust issues. Betrayals, whether in friendships, professional relationships, or even family dynamics, teach us to be wary. Yet, Stoicism encourages us not to let these experiences define our outlook entirely. As Seneca observed, "He who fears that he shall suffer already suffers what he fears." Letters to Lucilius, Letter 78. The constant anticipation of betrayal traps us in a cycle of fear, preventing us from experiencing the joy of genuine relationships. Rebuilding trust after betrayal is no small task, but it is possible. It begins with recognizing that not everyone is untrustworthy. Just as there are those who break trust, there are also individuals who consistently honor it. Start small. Observe how people handle minor commitments. Do they show up when they say they will? Are their actions aligned with their words? These small demonstrations of reliability are the building blocks of trust. Consider Daniel, a young entrepreneur burned by a previous business partner who mishandled funds and left him in financial distress. For years, Daniel worked alone, refusing to collaborate out of fear of being betrayed again. However, as his business grew, he realized he needed a team. Instead of diving headfirst into partnerships, he started with small collaborations, testing the waters with freelancers on minor projects. Over time, he identified individuals who consistently delivered on their promises. Slowly, Daniel rebuilt his trust in others, eventually forming a team that shared his vision and values. His caution didn't prevent connection. It ensured that connection was built on a solid foundation. Stoicism teaches us that while trust is vital, it should never be blind. Marcus Aurelius advises, "Expect nothing, blame no one. Be content with the truth, no matter how it reveals itself." Meditations, Book 852. This mindset encourages a balance between openness and vigilance. Trusting cautiously means being open to the possibility of connection while remaining realistic about human fallibility. Practical steps can help navigate the delicate terrain of trust. First, practice discernment. Pay attention to patterns in behavior rather than relying solely on words. Someone who consistently keeps small promises is more likely to honor larger commitments. For example, a friend who regularly checks in and shows up when needed demonstrates reliability over time. Second, set boundaries. Trust doesn't mean giving unlimited access to your thoughts and feelings. Share gradually, starting with less sensitive topics, and observe how the other person responds. Healthy boundaries protect your emotional well-being while allowing space for trust to grow. Third, embrace the idea of mutual effort. Trust is not a one-way street. It requires both parties to invest in the relationship. Look for individuals who reciprocate your efforts and show a willingness to nurture the connection. Finally, be patient with yourself. Rebuilding trust is a slow process, and it's okay to take your time. Acknowledge the pain of past betrayals without letting it define your future. As Epictetus reminds us, it is not events that disturb men, but their judgment about events. Enchiridion, Chapter 5. Changing your perspective on trust doesn't erase the past, but empowers you to approach relationships with wisdom and resilience. Let's revisit Sarah. After her experience with betrayal, she decided to cautiously re-engage with her colleagues. She started by participating in small team projects, gradually opening up in professional discussions. Over time, she identified a few co-workers who valued collaboration and respected her input. With these individuals, she formed a trusted circle, restoring her confidence in workplace relationships. Sarah's journey illustrates that while betrayal can leave deep scars, it doesn't have to close the door to meaningful connections forever. As you reflect on your own experiences, consider this. Are there moments when trust issues have held you back from forming deeper relationships? What small steps can you take to rebuild trust, both in yourself and in others? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else navigating a similar path. Trust issues are not flaws. They are reminders of your resilience and desire for authentic connections. By approaching trust with caution but not cynicism, you honor your vulnerability while creating space for meaningful relationships. In doing so, you embody the Stoic principle of living thoughtfully, balancing self-protection with the courage to connect. Let your journey toward trust be a testament to your strength and capacity for growth. 3. Spending time with the wrong people. Energy matters. Have you ever left a conversation feeling inexplicably drained, as if the person you were speaking to had siphoned away your energy? It's not always obvious, but not all company is good company. Whether it's the chronic complainer, the manipulative schemer, or the subtle energy vampire, certain people can deplete your emotional reserves and cloud your mental clarity. The company you keep profoundly impacts not just your mood, but also your growth and purpose. Seneca wisely observed, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." This timeless Stoic advice reminds us of the transformative power of social connections. Relationships should nurture, challenge, and inspire us, not sap our strength or tether us to negativity. Consider Martin, an ambitious project manager in a competitive corporate environment. He found himself caught between two colleagues, one who spent every lunch break gossiping about inefficiencies and complaining about the office, and another who approached challenges with optimism and solutions. Initially, Martin indulged the negativity. It felt cathartic to vent. Over time, though, he noticed his mindset shifting. The more he listened to complaints, the more frustrated and disillusioned he became, and his energy levels plummeted. One day, Martin made a conscious choice. He started avoiding the draining conversations and sought out the company of his solution-oriented colleague. They began brainstorming ideas, discussing strategies, and sharing career insights. This small shift reinvigorated Martin, improved his performance, and brought clarity and focus to his work. Not all negative influences are as obvious as the gossiping coworker. Energy vampires come in many forms. They might be the friend who constantly demands attention but offers little in return, or the relative who uses every conversation to rehash old grievances. These individuals may not intend harm, but their behavior still drains your reserves. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think or do, only what you do." Spending time with people who perpetuate negativity jeopardizes your inner peace. Recognizing this, we must become intentional about our interactions, curating social connections to align with our values and goals. Recognizing the wrong people in your life isn't always straightforward. Some signs include constant negativity, manipulative behavior, lack of reciprocity, and emotional turmoil after interactions. If you leave a conversation feeling anxious or uneasy, it's worth reflecting on the nature of that relationship. Guarding your energy requires setting boundaries with those who drain you and prioritizing relationships that energize and inspire. For instance, rather than engaging in habitual venting with a chronic complainer, redirect the conversation toward solutions or limit the time spent in such interactions altogether. Cultivating intentional connections also means seeking out uplifting individuals who challenge and support you. By consciously aligning with those who share your values and aspirations, you create an environment conducive to growth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. While we may not always avoid difficult people entirely, family gatherings or work obligations can complicate matters. We can maintain control over our internal responses. By practicing emotional detachment, we can engage with patience and kindness without letting their negativity infiltrate our peace. Consider the story of a professional launching a side project. Instead of seeking validation from critics or indulging in unproductive debates, they quietly dedicate their time to building their idea, seeking advice from trusted mentors who share their vision. Months later, their project comes to fruition, earning respect not through empty promises, but through demonstrated results. This approach shows the power of surrounding yourself with people who uplift rather than distract, inspire rather than discourage. As you reflect on your own interactions, ask yourself, who in your life energizes you? Who drains you? What steps can you take to align your relationships with your values? Relationships shape us in profound ways, and by choosing wisely, you honor not only your energy, but also your potential. Let your circle reflect the person you aspire to be, and watch as your life transforms. 4. Social performance pressure. The burden of expectations. Modern social life often feels like a stage, with unspoken expectations demanding that we smile, engage, and entertain, even when we feel like retreating. This relentless pressure to perform can leave us feeling disconnected from our authentic selves, creating a sense of unease in social situations. Have you ever attended a gathering, forcing yourself to laugh and participate, all the while yearning for the quiet sanctuary of home? You're not alone in this struggle. Marcus Aurelius offers timeless wisdom for such moments. Do not waste time worrying about the opinion of others. Be content with living in alignment with your nature. Meditations, Book 6:16. This Stoic principle reminds us that the most important connection we can foster is the one with our true selves. Consider Sarah, a thoughtful but reserved individual who dreads large social gatherings. Recently, she attended a friend's birthday party, feeling obligated to appear cheerful and outgoing. The evening was filled with endless small talk and laughter that felt forced. She circulated the room, feigning enthusiasm, but inside, she felt utterly drained. As the night dragged on, Sarah began to question why she was there at all. The party, meant to be a celebration, became an exercise in endurance, leaving her exhausted and disconnected. This is the burden of social performance pressure, a silent demand to prioritize external expectations over internal comfort. Stoicism encourages us to reject this need for constant performance. It invites us to embrace our true nature, even if it doesn't align with societal norms. For those who struggle with social performance pressure, the first step is recognizing that you have the power to choose when and where to engage. Ask yourself, am I attending this event because it aligns with my values and brings joy, or am I succumbing to the fear of judgment if I decline? By answering honestly, you can begin to navigate social situations with intention rather than obligation. The pressure to perform socially isn't merely about attending events, it's also about how we show up in those spaces. Many people feel compelled to project an image of themselves that isn't entirely accurate, whether it's pretending to enjoy small talk or downplaying deeper interests for the sake of fitting in. Over time, this dissonance between our authentic selves and the persona we present can lead to burnout and resentment. Stoic philosophy reminds us that our worth isn't determined by others' perceptions. Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them, and it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." Meditations, Book 8:47. By releasing the need to perform, we reclaim our inner peace. Imagine James, a creative professional who thrives in quiet, reflective environments. At a networking event, he feels pressured to be extroverted and dynamic, constantly engaging in conversations that feel superficial. Instead of sparking connections, the experience leaves him feeling disoriented and out of place. Reflecting on his discomfort, James decides to redefine his approach. At future events, he focuses on building one or two meaningful connections rather than trying to engage everyone in the room. He also gives himself permission to leave when he feels his energy waning. This simple adjustment transforms his experience, allowing him to stay true to himself while still participating in social life. Practicing boundaries is crucial in alleviating social performance pressure. Start by identifying your limits. If you know that large gatherings are overwhelming, set a time limit for how long you'll stay. Communicate your boundaries clearly and without apology, whether it's politely declining an invitation or stepping away from a conversation when you need a moment to recharge. Remember, setting boundaries isn't about rejecting others. It's about honoring yourself. Another powerful strategy is to focus on authenticity over approval. When engaging socially, prioritize genuine interactions rather than striving to impress or entertain. Share thoughts and stories that resonate with your true self, and don't be afraid of moments of silence. They can be grounding and meaningful. Epictetus reminds us, "Keep your will in line with nature, and you will walk free." Discourses, Book 112. By aligning your actions with your inner values, you'll find greater ease in social interactions. If you find yourself in a situation where the pressure to perform becomes overwhelming, consider practicing mindfulness. Take a few deep breaths and center yourself. Remind yourself that your presence alone is enough. You don't need to dazzle or conform to anyone's expectations. As Seneca noted, "Be your own spectator, seek your applause within." Letters to Lucilius, Letter 28. This internal validation can help you navigate even the most demanding social scenarios. Lastly, give yourself permission to retreat when needed. Solitude isn't a failure to socialize, it's an act of self-care. After a draining event, take time to recharge in a way that nourishes your soul, whether it's reading, meditating, or enjoying the quiet company of close friends or family. Balance is key. Engaging socially on your own terms allows you to maintain authenticity while still fostering meaningful connections. Social performance pressure is an inevitable part of modern life, but it doesn't have to dictate your actions or compromise your well-being. By practicing boundaries, embracing authenticity, and prioritizing your needs, you can navigate social situations with confidence and clarity. Reflect on your own experiences. Are there times when you felt the burden of performance? What steps can you take to honor your true self in those moments? As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Meditations, Book 10:16. By living authentically and rejecting the need for constant performance, you create space for genuine connection and inner peace. 5. Social anxiety, overthinking. Every interaction. Transitioning from the pressure to perform in social settings, we delve into a deeper struggle, social anxiety, where every interaction becomes a mental battlefield. Unlike the external demand to appear cheerful or engaging, social anxiety arises from within, rooted in an overwhelming fear of judgment. Have you ever entered a room and immediately felt your chest tighten, your thoughts racing with, What if I say the wrong thing? Or what if they don't like me? This incessant overthinking magnifies every word, gesture, or silence, turning even the simplest social encounter into an exhausting ordeal. Epictetus offers solace and guidance for those who grapple with these feelings. It is not what others think of us that matters, but how we respond to our fears. Discourses, Book 129. His words remind us that while the fear of judgment is natural, it is within our control to manage our response. Social anxiety doesn't define you. It is merely a challenge, a call to embrace courage, even in small doses. Consider Emma, a young professional striving to grow her career. Her role demands networking, but the mere thought of such events fills her with dread. In her mind, every interaction becomes a potential minefield. What if she forgets someone's name? What if her contributions sound uninteresting? As she enters the room, she can feel her palms sweating and her heartbeat quickening. Despite her preparations, the fear of judgment looms larger than the event itself. Over time, Emma begins avoiding these gatherings altogether, creating a cycle where anxiety limits her opportunities and reinforces her fear. Stoic philosophy offers a roadmap to navigate such challenges. First, it invites us to reframe our perceptions. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Meditations, Book 6-8. Instead of focusing on the possibility of failure or judgment, shift your attention to what is within your control, your tone, your presence, and your authenticity. In a room full of strangers, remember that most people are too preoccupied with their own insecurities to scrutinize you as harshly as you might imagine. The key to overcoming social anxiety lies in taking small, intentional steps. Begin by setting manageable goals. If a large networking event feels overwhelming, start with one-on-one interactions or smaller gatherings where you feel more at ease. Practice introducing yourself, maintaining eye contact, and sharing genuine thoughts without overanalyzing each moment. As Epictetus teaches, courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Discourses, Book 3:15. By embracing discomfort in small doses, you gradually expand your comfort zone. Another practical approach is to prepare for interactions without obsessing over them. For example, if you're attending a professional event, have a few topics or questions in mind to guide conversations. Instead of striving to impress, focus on being present and curious. Genuine interest often makes a stronger impression than rehearsed lines or forced confidence. Emma, for instance, found success by shifting her perspective. She began approaching networking events not as performances, but as opportunities to learn. By asking open-ended questions and truly listening, she built meaningful connections while alleviating the pressure to constantly prove herself. It's also crucial to embrace self-compassion. Social anxiety often stems from perfectionism, the fear of making mistakes or falling short. Yet, as Seneca wisely observed, to err is human, to persist in error without reflection is foolish. Letters to Lucilius, Letter 28. Allow yourself to stumble occasionally, knowing that growth comes from imperfection. Reflect on moments of discomfort as opportunities to learn, rather than evidence of failure. When anxiety strikes in the moment, grounding techniques can help. Focus on your breath, slow, deep inhales and exhales to calm your racing mind. Find an anchor, such as a piece of jewelry or the feel of your feet on the ground, to bring yourself back to the present. Remind yourself that your worth is not determined by a single conversation or encounter. These small practices can shift your mindset from panic to presence. Finally, remember that stepping back when needed is also an act of strength. Prioritize your well-being by recognizing when to retreat and recharge. Balance is key. Solitude allows you to regain energy, while intentional engagement helps you grow. Over time, the practice of choosing when and how to interact builds confidence and autonomy, reducing the hold social anxiety has over your life. As you reflect on these insights, consider your own experiences. Have you felt the weight of overthinking in social interactions? What strategies have helped you navigate those moments? Share your thoughts in the comments or with others who might find solace in knowing they're not alone. By opening the conversation, you contribute to a shared understanding and encouragement. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to share this video with friends, colleagues, or loved ones. Together, we can explore the wisdom of Stoicism and unlock tools for living with intention, authenticity, and courage. Every step toward self-awareness and growth is a step toward a more fulfilled and connected life. Let's continue this journey together, one mindful moment at a time. As we conclude this exploration of the 5 reasons why you don't like to be around people, we find ourselves deeply indebted to the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. Their profound insights remind us that the challenges we face in navigating social life are not flaws, but opportunities for self-discovery and growth. From the introvert's yearning for solitude, the caution born from trust issues, and the drain of spending time with the wrong people, to the burden of social performance pressure and the mental battlefield of social anxiety, each reason is a reflection of the complexities of human connection. These aren't weaknesses to fix, but facets of our nature to understand, honor, and balance. The Stoics teach us that by aligning our actions with our true selves and focusing on what we can control, we create a life of authenticity and peace. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Let this guide us toward meaningful relationships and inner clarity. Which of these reasons resonated with you the most? Share your reflections in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. If this video inspired you, please give it a like, share it with others who might find value, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights rooted in Stoic philosophy. Stay tuned for the next video in this journey of understanding and growth. See you soon.